In this video, I'm going to show the basic concept of a self-join and show you two examples how to apply this concept. So self-join is going to be very, very useful depending on what you're trying to do. Here's a very simple example. So let's say I have this table. It's got a list of names in the city where they're located, and there's an ID identifier. That's the primary key. And then list the first name, last name, and the city, presumably the city of residence for each one of these fictitious characters. So let's say I want a table output showing the people from the same city in pairs. So if I were to put all of the, let's list out the last name and the city for each, for every person who lives in the same city in pairs like this, okay? So this is what the output looks like, right? Michael Scott lives in Scranton. Pam Beasley also lives in Scranton, right? So they'll be side by side like this. And same with Jim Halpert, right? And then Jim Halpert and Pam Beasley also are in the same city. And same with Walter White, and then Jesse Pinkman and Gus Frank, right? So it shows you every pair, people living. So this, obviously, this table, it's shortened, right? There'll be more at the bottom here. Listing out, for example, Pinkman and Frank together, then Pinkman and Goodman, and then Frank and Goodman. So I cut down a few of the rows here, but basically the table should have more rows, but it basically shows all of the pairs of people who are in the same city. Okay, so how do I create this table based on the single member table here? Okay, so that's kind of the motivation. I'm going to use the Northwind database to demonstrate how to solve this question using a self-join. Okay, so I'm in my PG admin window here. I'm already linked to the Northwind database, and we're looking at the Northwind database. And I want to find all customers in the same city by retrieving a list with the company name and city. I want to know how many records are returned if I run the query. That is, the final table should only have unique combination of customer companies located in the same city. So when I write a query, I want to know what's the final number of rows in that table. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the Northwind database, it's a very popular database we use to basically learn how to write SQL. Okay, so my database is already loaded, so let's take a quick look. And I know I can look at the ER diagram to look see which tables are relevant. For mine, I know that it's a customers table. Okay, so I'm gonna just look at the customers table here. I'll just look at the first 5 rows. Okay, I could also go down and look at the tables from here. Under tables, there's a customers table here, and then there are various columns in here. Okay, but I can just run this query here. Okay, and then you can see the first 5 rows. Okay, so basically what I want is a combination of the company name and the city, so this column and this column, side by side for every single company that's located in the same city. Okay, so I'm going to use what's called a self-joiner to accomplish this. So I'm going to just select. So I'll just start with one table first. Okay, so I want the company name. Now it's not case sensitive, but I'm going to try to be consistent with the way I use the names here, or capitalizing the first letter of the word so that it's easy to see. Okay. From customers. Okay. So all this will do is bring out, select the company name column and the city column from the table customers, right? Okay. When you do a self join, you could actually reference your same table more than once. Okay. So I could technically do create an alias for the customer's name, call this one A. I can call the table again, the same table again, and simply call it B. Okay. And then I can then select one of those tables I just referenced. It's the same table. Okay. I can reference the A table and output the company name and city from that A table. I could do it again from the second table. Okay, and then once I do that, then if you run this, okay, it's not going to really be that interesting, but basically it lists out the company name from table A, which is customers, the city from customer A table, and then this is the company name for the B table, and a city from the customer's B table, right? So it's the same table, we're just referencing it twice, okay? So if I want to find out all the customers are in the same city, then I think the logical thing here to do then is simply try out A dot city. So the city column from the A table has to equal the city column from the B table, right? So let's see what that looks like. Okay, and I know this is going to be not complete accurate here, but oops, I made a mistake here. Oops, I forgot the keyword, right? Okay, I'm missing the where clause, right? Where. Okay, and then rerun. And now I have to search. So it looks like now, so Alfred, so this company here is referencing itself. Okay, let's look at some of the other ones. And Trujillo is in the same city as Tortuga Restaurante. Then this lists out all of the companies that are also in Mexico DF. Okay, but again, this is when I get to here, you can see it's referencing itself again, right? Okay, it's referencing itself. Okay, same with this first one, right? So it looks like it's almost correct. It is outputting all of this companies in the same city. Okay, but it's also referencing itself. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more thing to correct this query here. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of those self references, right? So I'm gonna say and A dot, okay, customer ID less than B dot customer ID. Okay, and once I do this, okay, now you'll notice I have all the pairs, and we no longer have this issue where it's referencing itself. Okay, so without this end clause, technically every company will show up once, right? Because every company is located in the city, so it'll reference itself. Okay, because you're basically taking the same customer tables and referencing it twice. But adding this condition now, it gets rid of any of those self references. Okay, so this is an example using a self join to basically create this table here. Okay, and the total number of rows is 44. Okay, so let me show you another example here. Second question I'm gonna try to answer using self join is retrieving a list with the last name of employees and the last name of managers who each employee reports to. So again, this is from the Northwind database. And the relevant table here is the employees table. So I'm gonna this the employees table. So I'm gonna just take again. Let's look at the first, let's say 10 rows of that employees table. Okay. Select star from employees. Let's just limit it to 10. And then query. And this shows you the employees table. Okay. So I want a list of last names and the last name of managers who each employee reports to. Okay. So if you look at this table, okay, scroll to the right. See if there any kind of way to figure out. So there's this column called reports to. Okay, it's got a number. Okay, and that number is referencing the employee ID number here. Okay, so for example, Nancy Davolio reports to 2, which is Andrew Fuller. Okay, so Andrew Fuller is Nancy's manager, according to this table right now. Okay, so I want to make list of all the employees and list out their manager. So it's going to be one column, last name of the employee, and then another column that shows the manager. Okay, so again, I'm going to use a self-join idea here. So I'm going to do select. Okay, it's not case sensitive, but I'm going to try to be consistent here. Okay, I'm going to do the last name. Okay, and this last name is going to be employer last name. Okay, so I'm going to say as employee name. Okay, and then second column is, again, it's going to be the last name again. Okay, we'll put an alias in a second. And manager name. Okay, then I'm going to reference this table twice. We call it A. And then again, I can use any letter. I can use any kind of aliaser, but I'm just going to make it easy on myself and just put capital A, capital B. Okay, so it's referencing the last name column of the employee table. It's referencing it twice. Okay, and then so now if I want to match up the reports to column with the employee ID column, it's very straightforward, right? All I have to do then is where A dot the employees table, the column reports to equals to B dot employee ID. Okay, and when I run this query now, okay, we'll see two columns. Tells you Davolio reports to Fuller, Leverling reports to Fuller, Kickout reports to Fuller, Buchanan also reports to Fuller, Suihama reports to Buchanan, King reports to Buchanan, Callahan reports to Fuller, and then Dodsworth reports to Buchanan. Okay, so this tells you who's referring to who. Okay, and it looks like Fuller is the main manager, right? Because Buchanan also reports to Fuller, right? Okay, so this is again a video showing how to use self-join to answer the very specific questions where you're trying to retrieve some kind of information using a condition within the same table. So you self-reference. So basically, you do a self-join on the table itself, and you make you basically alias it in different values, but you're basically referencing the table more than once. Okay, to make this happen. Okay, hopefully this is helpful, and I'll try to post more videos. But yeah, this is one specific example of how to use a self-join to answer this specific question. Okay, thanks. Bye.